Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host, T. is Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanche Radamas, aka Blanchy Kruger. And today's title is Blackness, a battle for self-esteem and self-worth. Blackness, a battle for self-esteem and self-worth. What's up, RPG? What's up, Miss Jackson? What's up, Jocelyn? So I'm going to just jump right into it. Well, let me just say this first. Um, the problem with Black people is that they have low self esteem collectively. I think in other races, people have low self esteem and low self worth individually, but Black people have low self esteem and low self worth collectively. This is what makes Black people unique to any other group on the planet, is that they collectively share in low self-esteem and low self-worth. And so the problem is that every time Black people look at something, they look at something from that lens, a lens of low self-esteem, a lens of low self-worth, a lens of low self-value. So this is how Black people analyze the world. From the glass is not half empty, the glass is completely empty and it's cracked. That's how Black people view the world. What's up, W.A. Banks? What's up, Tierra? What's up, the Ice Cold Wolf? What's up, Sonoy Finite? So let's just jump right into it. And I want you to pay attention in this discussion right here. You have Charlie Kirk and this weird chick, and I want you to look at her face. As he's speaking to her and looking at her, I want you to look at her face.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are Black.
Exactly.
So Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, Blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders. That's not a war on drugs, that's a culture problem.
Okay, so let's talk about that culture. Black people have been legislatively subjugated up until 1965. I'll give it, honestly, it's later, but let's just say 1965. You do not think that 10 generations of legislative subjugation and slavery during that time, 4,000 Black men, women, and children are lynched as the result of race riots in this country? You do not think that these things have a lasting effect? We have had 10 generations of subjugation and 4 of legislative freedom.
Of course they have an impact, but it's more on you to explain why things got worse since the Civil Rights Act. More violent, less fathers around, poorer. Why is that?
Because of mass incarceration and the unfair criminalization of Black men.
But let's just take murders, for example. Why Blacks are 13% of the population and commit 58% of the murders? Why is that?
Because people in affluent and whiter neighborhoods are not being policed at the same rate. There are more police.
I'm talking about dead bodies. There's no, we're not talking about policing, we're talking about murders. Why are so many Blacks committing murders outside of their population?
Okay, let's take it back to some history.
I'm curious for an answer to that question.
I'm going to give you one. So let's go to redlining. Okay.
So I want you to know she's about to cry. And the reason why she's about to cry, keep in mind her boyfriend is white. But she's going to probably end up marrying a white guy because she wants biracial children. The irony of being so pro-Black that you choose to procreate with a white person. Think about this, what she's saying. White people have subjugated her people for 10 generations, and her response is to be with a white guy. Think about that. Think about all of your rhetoric is how bad white people have been in America, yet when you go to bed at night, you are laying down with a Caucasian. Now, don't get me wrong. You love who you want to love. I'm just saying it's just hard for me to buy that you're pro-Black and you're also pro-white with your vagina. You pro-Black with your mouth, but you pro-white with your vagina. I just find that hard to believe. But you know she's about to cry. And she's going to cry because she knows that Charlie Kirk does not believe what she's saying. She knows that Charlie Kirk is telling the truth. So her greatest fear is for a white person to see through all this nonsense and get to the root of the issue. Now, this girl done said that the reason why black people kill the most within their own race and outside of their race is because they were subjugated for 10 generations. That doesn't even make any sense. What study has been done to say that if you've been subjugated, you become violent against your own people? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, she brings up redlining. So listen to what she says about redlining.
Redlining.
Redlining
Yes.
is why so many blacks are killing each other?
No, let me finish my claim,
Okay.
and then you can respond. Is that okay? Okay. So redlining, federally mandated or sustained by the FHA, right? Separating Black Americans to specifically impoverished and relegated areas of the country.
So what's funny about redlining is, did they come through the areas with buses and round up people and move them to different neighborhoods? I'm curious. How did the government enforce redlining? Did they forcibly remove black people and force them to live somewhere? Just tell me, how did that happen? Did they come through with paddy wagons? Tell me how the government forced black people to stay over here. How? Were black people kicking and screaming, fighting? We want to stay right here? Doesn't make any sense. How did the government forcibly make black people move to a certain part of town? How? By what means?
We are incapable of buying homes and putting equity into neighborhoods with lower crime rates and better educational systems. We do not have access to things that would uplift and help our community. When you are put in an environment that promotes and reinforces social and economic inequality, you become desperate and are forced to do things
Like
that
kill people.
maybe don't align with your values.
But what you're making.
So, notice what she said. She said that you are forced to live with people that don't share your values. But she just said they were forced to live around other black people, though. So you mean to tell me when black folks come together, there was a clash between those with morals and those without? What is she saying? She's saying that black people were forced to live with other black people that did not share their same values. And so that's what caused them to kill. This is what she's saying.
You're making an excuse for a lot of
Now,
murder
when you
and
have
a lot of stealing.
a high
but-
concentration
but
of a subjugated people in
Hold on.
one area,
If you were right, when blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that?
so I'm sorry, are you trying to say that blacks thrive under subjugation?
No, I'm not. I'm saying I'm asking you the question. The data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were
less
afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed
so
in
if
violent
that's your-
lynch
If that's your
mobs.
explanation, but I just
Racial
so, but
terror
black-
permeated
black
American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is
You don't
worse
think
than it has been
that
in the
affected
last 80 years.
the generational psyche of an entire group of people?
No, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. I'm just trying to understand, why is it the more social welfare we've done, so we've spent $20 trillion on uplifting black communities, 20 trillion.
So she's saying, this is what she's saying. She's saying that the reason why it's worse is because the people were psychologically tormented, and that's causing black people to kill today. Keep in mind, black folks are making songs about killing. It's being put in movies. It's being glorified. Don't snitch. The whole murder culture in the black community is celebrated. The whole murder culture is celebrated. Offset just got shot a couple days ago. So the whole murder culture, the whole kill culture with even abortion and homicide is celebrated in the black community. Please show me a scientific study to how a people group being subjugated makes them behave that way. Then she says, well, they were afraid to kill each other back then. Now they aren't afraid. Like, what are you even saying? But during this whole conversation, her eyes are welling up because she's in front of a white man who doesn't care about her nonsense. She's not used to being around white people that disagree with her. She's only around white liberals who agree with her. So when she gets a white man disagreeing with her, her whole world is shattered. She's about to cry on this at this table.
And Black Americans are poor. We've done everything that's been asked.
You haven't done everything that's been asked, though.
Great society.
Because what is being
stamps,
asked?
Subsidized housing, Medicaid, public schooling, subsidized college. We're talking about $20 trillion that has been spent on the Great Society, and yet Black America is poorer, more murderous, more dangerous. So there's an explanation. I'm asking you to explain.
But we are not asking for handouts. We are asking for equity.
Hold on,
and
what
part
is
of
that?
equity,
what does equity mean?
is
you mean taking from other people?
Excuse me, it means sharing.
Has been spent on the Great Society, and yet Black America is poorer, more murderous, more dangerous. So there's an explanation. I'm asking you to explain.
But we are not asking for handouts. We are asking for equity.
Hold on,
and
what
part
is
of
that?
equity
what does equity mean?
is
you mean taking from other people?
Excuse me, it means sharing.
That was the funniest part of this whole clip. He said, what does equity mean? Taking from other people? She says, no, it means sharing. Well, if they don't want to share. But anyway, my point in showing this video is she prompted me to do this title tonight, Blackness, a Battle for Self-Esteem. And look, if you look at her face right here, she is about to cry. She's about to cry. Now, listen, if I was debating her, she wouldn't have tears in her eyes. She'd be cursing me out. But you better believe that. If I was in front of her, she would be cursing me out. But Charlie Kirk in front of her, she wants to cry. And you know why she wants to cry? Because deep down inside, she feels inferior to Charlie Kirk. You see, Black people don't feel inferior to white liberals because white liberals are their footstools. White liberals are going to placate to them, pander to them, kiss up to them, brown nose. They don't feel inferior to white liberals. Make Black folks feel very, very comfortable. But those white conservatives who have a backbone, who have a spine, they sin. It's like you got Jason, you got Freddy Krueger, you got Candyman, you got the girl from the Ring movie. Who else we got? I know I'm missing some scary people. You got the little white girl from Poltergeist. You got a whole bunch of figures in these horror movies that are scary. But nothing terrifies a Black person like a white conservative who don't care nothing about what they talking about. Matter of fact, Black people get so afraid of them, they start crying. She about to break down and start crying. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Tierra. Thank you, Wa Banks. Michael Myers and that thing from Jeepers Creepers. Those things terrify the average person. But Black people's greatest fear is a white conservative, a white Christian conservative who does not care about what they're talking about. That's what Black people are afraid of. Now, if you watch her against Andrew Wilson, she was a little better because her boyfriend was in the room. She's a little better, but she still is a lunatic. I said Jason. I said Jason, Freddy Krueger, the girl from the Ring movie. Forgot about Chucky. They said in the chat, Jeepers Creepers and Michael Myers, the girl from Poltergeist, the girl from the Rain movie. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, here we go. 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 Let's just jump right into it. And I want to offer some positive, reassurance as well. I don't want to just make it, I'm going to just jump back and forth between positive,
in your little world, your little racist world. I don't live in that world. I'm not black. I'm a human. And when I walk wherever I walk, you're gonna respect me like I'm one. I'm not into all that other stuff. You're gonna respect me. So when I walk in, you like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Eric Thomas. Who's Eric Thomas? I'm the speaker. Oh, you don't look like it. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm speaking. Ain't nobody paid me to do no fashion show. I'm getting paid to talk. So I don't know if I look like you think I should look, but I'm not interested in how you think I should look. I'm here to work. And when it's showtime, I'm putting in work. When it's showtime, somebody's life about to be changed when I leave. We're not here for this. What do you want? Do you even know? Have you sat down long enough to stop comparing yourself to everybody else and to your siblings, what your mama want, what your daddy want? Have you ever even thought about what you want?
That's Eric Thomas. Now, I didn't agree with the entirety of the message because the premise was all wrong. A person used to seeing speakers in business attire or business casual, and you show up in casual, doesn't mean they're being racist. It's natural to assume you are not the speaker because you have on a baseball cap, t-shirt, and jeans. Like nobody would assume you were the speaker. It's not because you're black. It's because most speakers are business professional or casual, business casual attire. But I like what he said. He said, I'm not black, I'm human. That's what I liked about what he said in that clip. I'm not black, I'm human. Now I wonder where he got that from. I wonder where he got, I'm not black. Now keep in mind now, he's saying he ain't black, but his rhetoric don't match. He said, I'm not black, I'm human, but his rhetoric don't match him not being black. Anyway, I'm just wondering where he got it from. I'm not saying he got it from me. I'm just wondering where he got it from. Because I know he ain't saying he ain't black to his friends and family. Ain't no way. But let's continue. Let's visit our good friend Marquette.
Have to interrupt. Like interrupting is not necessary. We're having a civil conversation. I notice people only do that when they have a problem with the truth getting out.
People only do that when they have a problem with the truth getting out.
Interrupting you, I didn't mean to do it rudely. I was just trying to chime in because
I didn't take
people say that all the time. But
even if you were in Europe, which I go to Europe a lot.
English, a little bit of Finnish, I think too.
I'm telling you, I cannot accept your research.
The biggest issue is
I'm
representational.
going to cut you just because I did get your answers.
Racial tension and all these geopolitics.
Let me challenge you. You're talking, but you ain't saying it. Because I got Forrest's answer. For you, what is it?
Well, I was in the middle of answering the question. You called his point white supremacist. I asked you what that
Which is, mind you, not an insult. I've not said anything foul. I'm just responding with facts. We both know that it's not civilized to talk while someone else is talking. I haven't done that to either of you, even though there's two of you.
You have. Something to be able to have an opinion
Jackson,
on.
I'm asking you, who has more South African contacts, you or me?
But I do want to chime in because I know we're not debating.
No, I can speak to data, just like I spoke to data with the situations in Rhodesia and Congo.
I'm
not trying to debate because it would be.
I reject the idea that committing atrocity is an exclusively European characteristic. I think all people.
That's a straw man. That's not the argument. The argument.
Okay. Most of the replication.
You know what? I like
technology.
what you said. And I think
if this was an interview, we'd have to be given the opportunity to actually say something. You've been taking up most of the space.
Now, remember what I said in the beginning, a battle for self-esteem and self-worth. if you don't have self-esteem, if you don't have self-worth, then you don't have self-value, then you don't have self-respect. So if you don't have self-esteem, you don't have self-worth. If you don't have self-worth, you don't have self-value. If you don't have self-value, you don't have self-respect. So you notice that Marquette said, don't interrupt, and he proceeds to interrupt them. And listen to the reason he gave. The reason he said was because you interrupt me because you have a problem with the truth. And you saw he interrupted them every chance he could because he knows they're telling the truth. Everybody knows when somebody's telling the truth, and everybody knows when somebody's lying. We innately know these things. We know when someone's telling the truth, and we know when someone's lying. We may pretend we don't, but we know when someone's lying to us, and we know when they're telling the truth. And Marquette knows they're telling the truth. He knows this. Now he's trying to appear to be intellectually superior. He doesn't want to look bad in front of his fan base. And so what he's doing is he's trying to cut them off so that they can't get their point across, so he can seem like he's the smartest one in the room. Tish said, typically a lack of self-esteem leads to pride and ego and defense. It does. But the problem is, it's really a protection mechanism. So they put up the pride and ego as a front. So what they'll do is they'll look for things to give them validation. So in this case, Marquette cutting them off gives him validation because he's on his show. So he's the one, he's the host. Like, this is what you see this all the time with black people. When black folks having a conversation with somebody white, they always bring up race because they want to control the conversation. What's up, Neek? Neek says she working out. So what you have to work on, black people, is you have to work on self-esteem. How do you get self-esteem? How do you feel good about yourself? The secret to feeling good about yourself is accomplishing things. That's how you feel good about yourself. So the best way to feel good, to get self-esteem, to get self-worth, to get self-value, to get self-respect, is to go out there and do. If you go out there and do, you're going to feel better about yourself. The problem with black people is they just talk. They don't do. Black folks ain't built a pyramid in thousands of years, but they still talking about the pyramids. Let's continue. Let's continue. Ooh, there are so many to choose from. Okay, let's go positive.
So black people, it's time to lock in. There's no more excuses. I know there's going to be that small minority of people that are going to look at this and say, oh, I'm cooning out to the white man. But actually, I'm trying to encourage and uplift black people whilst we're acknowledging the fact that there's no excuses. And I'm going to go by every excuse one by one and debunk it. This should facilitate, a very, very, very much needed growth. So what I'll say is kings and queens, step into the chat. Slaves, exit left. We've been too tolerant of making excuses. We've been too tolerant of allowing black people to continue to be the laughing stock, not only of America, but of the world. And it's time to do better. So the first thing somebody might say is, well, the system is racist. Since the Fair Sentencing Act of 2010, actually black people have been being awarded much, much lighter and more lenient prison sentences. Irina Zarutska, who was in a way the, George Floyd with white people. The only difference is that white people didn't riot and loot like black people were. She was actually killed by a black man that had like 14 to 19 priors or something like that. And I've seen a lot of pictures with black people that have like, 30, 40, 50, 60. I'm not exaggerating, by the way, 70 priors. That's absolutely insane. And that's actually something else that's boosting the black crime significantly. So you should actually, if you are black and you care about black people, you should actually agree with me that that's a problem. So clearly the system is not being too racist if we have people that have like 80 priors that are going out and setting people on fire. Another thing somebody might say is colonization. Well, then your argument would be if African countries were never colonized and they would be doing good, right? Well, two countries that have never been colonized are Liberia and Ethiopia. And between these two countries, they're still making 500 to 1,000 United States dollars a year. Not $500,000, $500. Also, when you look at black Americans, they are the richest black people in the world on average. Even when you factor in like Section 8, housing, food stamps, all of that, even if you put them at the absolute lowest potential, they still make a lot more money than a lot of people in third world countries specifically. That's a fact. And then people are going to say, well, it's the culture. I agree, it is the culture, but culture is also created and upheld by individuals that live in that area. For example, if you have a group of people that are all highly intelligent, the culture is going to be reflected a lot differently. Highly intelligent people create a highly intelligent culture. That's just a fact. And I know people think it's a white man's lie with the whole IQ thing, but black people are amongst the lowest on average. And white people have nothing to gain by putting Jews as the top in terms of the IQ. They're like 110 and, 115. And a lot of white people say the Jews are trying to get rid of them. So why would they lie about their enemy being above them? And then also, you know how a lot of white Americans are with China. The IQ of a lot of Asian people is also higher than white people. Also with environment, poor white people, the poorest white people in Appalachia that are making less than 10,000 a year, they're still not committing the same amount of crime as black people making like 50 to 60,000 a year. So really, what excuse is there at this point?
So I like what this young man said, and he contextualized the argument. He said, when we're talking about IQ, white people don't put themselves at the top. If we're talking about IQ, white people don't put themselves at the top. So why would they lie about putting you all at the bottom? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why wouldn't they just say we're at the top, y'all at the bottom? Why would they actually put other races above them? Anyway, but this goes back to my point, and it's self-esteem. What gives you self-esteem is not making your entire life about race and racism. My personal opinion is black people have lower IQs. I'm speaking about America. Black people have lower IQs in America because they've been programmed and propagandized to believe that all of their answers to life rest in race. So there's no critical thinking. There's no brain exercising going on because everything is about race. So when black people step outside of the race, it's just entertainment. Think about it. When black people aren't talking about race, they're talking about foolishness. So the average black mind doesn't get enough exercise, in my opinion, to have a higher IQ. Not that it's not possible. I just feel like black people focus on race, which makes them dumb. Africans, on the other hand, if you go to Africa, you'll see it's not very much mental stimulation. I'm being honest with you. If you go to Africa, you'll see there's not very much mental stimulation. It's just not. And we can say, well, they had a low IQ, so they didn't build anything around them. You could say that, but I'm just saying today, if you go to Africa, there's not much mental stimulation going on. There's nothing outside of basic eat, sleep, work. Like there's nothing outside of that. It's just, so I just think, in my opinion, that it is not an IQ issue to me. It is a mind expansion, mind exercise issue. Thomas Sowell talks about them doing studies when they had black children that grew up with white children in Europe. They had the same IQs. If you, again, I went to private school my entire life. The top kids in the classes when I went to school were of all the races. There wasn't just white. No, it was all races of quote unquote geniuses in the school. the top echelon of the students, like the top, they was all racist. It was just the elite of each racial group. So it was elite whites, elite blacks, elite Hispanic, elite Asians. So again, I know in my opinion, it's not just an inherently, you got a low IQ. I believe that culture plays a lot in the IQ because culture will oftentimes supersede your IQ. People adhere to a culture more than anything, even if it's dumb, even if it's stupid. And also think about how black children get treated when they are bright. Also think about how black children get treated when they are bright. Do they get celebrated? No. Are these black parents sitting down with these children? No. They're not doing it. The only way I was spared, thank God, is that my mom put me in private school. That is the only way. So I was exposed. We went on vacation. My mom put me in all kind of my mom and me doing everything. I was exposed to a lot. So guess what? I'm not going to be dumb. But if all you know is the hood and the block, of course you're going to be stupid. Your mind ain't even thinking outside of your immediate environment. So again, I think when we talk about IQ, it's nuance. Even when that guy did that test in Africa, the IQ test, look who he's picking. Random people off the street who literally only think about eating, sleeping, sex, and work. That's it. This is my opinion. And we talk about we talk about culture. No one wants to factor in the amount of programming and propaganda that black people are under. Nobody wants to acknowledge it. It is at an unprecedented level. I want you to think about how much programming black people are subjected to, even in the schools they go to, TV, movies. Everywhere black people look, there's programming, magazines, there's a nonstop programming. They can't even see it. Let's continue.
White people should have no authoritarian power over black people. None. If black people go into court, we need to be ruled in the court of black jurors and black judges, everything. Black people shouldn't be policed by white people. Black people shouldn't be going to medical places by white. It should be so normal that.
The Ice Cold Wolf said, my kids will be watching your content when they get older. I'm calling it Afro-American Studies. You got to give it a name. Yes, Charles. And I talked about, thank you, Charles. The African mind for thousands of years didn't have to be challenged because of their climate and environment. And it has been passed down to all generations. The closer you get to the equator, the easier life is. So what people are asking people to do is to live in an area where they can literally go to a tree and get some fruit, go to the river or ocean to get some fish. Like, life is easier. The fact that it's constantly warm makes a difference. If it's always warm, you don't have to wear clothes. You don't have to build anything. It's always warm. And so white people lived in the worst climate and conditions and environments ever. So they were forced to have a culture that was bent on advancement. Otherwise, they would have died. They would have died. There was a necessity for whites to be industrious and ingenuitive. It was a necessity. They had to be welcoming of ideas to make life easier because life was hard to grow food. They had to build shelter because the climate was treacherous. The ground was unforgiving. The weather was unforgiving. Come on, like it's just they were forced to do it. But we get to the islands and to Africa and to where it's warm. Why would they do it? Build a castle for what? To go in there and sweat? Like, why would they build a castle? Think about it. Why would they build these structures and go in there and be hot? For what reason? But thank you, Charles. Will said, but Blanche, you still black. They never going to accept you. But they love, listen, they love telling me that. They love telling me that. And this is my question, right? And I ask people, if you take what I'm saying, what do you think I'm saying that's getting white people to nod their head and clap their hands? Like, what am I saying? Like, what am I saying that's getting white people to get all excited? Like, honestly, at this point, what am I saying that's so to get white folks excited? Because they sure ain't cutting the check. The check is not being cut.
White people should have no authoritarian power over black people. None. If black people go into court, we need to be ruled in the court of black jurors and black judges, everything. Black people shouldn't be policed by white people. Black people shouldn't be going to medical places by white. It should be so normal that it should be American. Like, this should be the normal thing in America. But it's looked at as weird for black people to only police themselves, only hold themselves accountable, only treat themselves and nurse themselves. It's only looked at as weird because white people are in the business of ruling over black people. But in no way should they be ruling over us whatsoever.
I want you to think about what he's saying. And think about, so he's saying that white people in general, so the average white person just walking down the street is ruling over black people. Remember what I told you, that the programming gives the authority of one white person over all black people. So if one white person does something, it's done to all black people, which essentially means that one white person is more powerful than all black people, which also means that white people in general are more powerful than anything in the universe. This man said white people shouldn't be ruling over black people, but yet black people don't forget having a country. They don't even have a city. Think about this now. Black people have supposedly been in America for over 400 plus years, and they don't even have a black city. Black people have been here during the time where people were creating their own towns. Black folks have been here 400 years, have gotten $20+ trillion, have gotten programs, education, subsidies, everything. And there is no such thing as a black ran owned city. And this guy wants black people to police black people.
We need that psychological safety. And it's beyond psychological. We need that actual safety of our lives. America has already proved this country directly and unjustifiably will unalive black people just for being black. It's still a part of the American fabric. They just pretending now they don't need no power or no positions of power over us. No positions of authority. They ain't got no fucking power. They tricking us into thinking that this shit is okay because we see, oh well, other white people working. No, they could work for them. They could work for them. We ain't supposed to be working for them. If we
And this is what happens if you let black people talk long enough. It's like it gets out of whack because it's not well thought out. It's just emotion. It's just emotion. First he said they had the power over them. Now he's saying they don't have any power. Then he's saying that a part of American fabric is white people killing black people. I want you to think about the number one killers of black people. Abortion, poor health, poor diet, homicide. Those are the abortion, poor health, poor diet, homicide. All three of those things are controlled not by white people, by black people. Black people have full autonomy when it comes to abortions, when it comes to their health, and when it comes to homicide, killing each other. So what you'll find is that in areas where black people have 100% control, what follows is death, destruction, and damnation. Why? Because if a group of people have low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-value, and low self-respect, the results are going to yield a bad fruit because that type of individual is going to be destructive. It's just inevitable. If I don't care about myself, I'm not going to care about anybody else.
We're gonna have our own system. We need to rectify ourselves and develop in our own system. We can figure out the way that shit work when we work it out. But this shit ain't for us. This for them.
%98 of all crime against black people is committed by someone black. 89% of all black murders are committed by someone black. FBI crime stats. 98% of all crime against black are against black. 89% of all black murders are committed by someone black. So they're going to say proximity. But if I go to any other group of people, the amount of murders don't compare. They just don't. Let's go to something positive.
Pretty girl on the street. You can win or you can lose. You start a new business. You can win or you can lose. That's it. Life is binary. How do you approach winning and losing exceptionally? Everybody wants to win and nobody wants to lose. There's no exceptionalism in being like everyone else wanting to win, and there's no exceptionalism being like everyone else not wanting to lose. The only possible exceptionalism that exists in a win-lose conundrum is in between. To try, because nobody wants to try. Nobody likes the idea of struggle. Nobody likes the idea of pain. Nobody likes the idea of setbacks. Nobody likes the idea of banging their head against a wall. Nobody likes frustration. Nobody likes confusion. So to be exceptional, what you have to do is say, I'm the only one who doesn't care about winning, and I don't care about losing. I love trying. I love to try. I just got my ass kicked. I don't care because I tried. And I tried my best. When I start a new business, people say, do you think it's going to be successful? I say, I don't know. When you love trying, you're now an exceptional person because nobody else does. Everyone wants to win without trying. Everyone wants to avoid loss without trying. You're the only guy who loves trying. We have winning and losing. You go up to a pretty girl on the street. You can win or you can lose. You start a new business. You can win or you can lose. That's it. Life is binary. How do you approach winning and losing exceptionally? Everybody wants to win, and nobody wants to lose. There's no exceptionalism in being like everyone else wanting to win, and there's no exceptionalism being like everyone else not wanting to lose.
Do you hear what this man is saying? Do you hear what this man is saying? This man said, wanting to win and not wanting to lose makes you not exceptional. It makes you like everybody else. Think about that. Think about how powerful what he's saying is. He's saying what makes you exceptional is loving to try and not worried about the outcome. If people took what this man is saying, guess what? You can disagree with Andrew Tate's lifestyle, but is what he's saying life-changing? It is. Because it doesn't make a person exceptional to want to win because everybody wants to win. And it doesn't make you exceptional to not want to lose because nobody wants to lose. What separates you from the pack is the willingness to try, and you don't care about the outcome. I'm going to give 110% and let the chips fall as they may. This is what Black people lack right here. This right here. This is what most people lack, but this is what Black folks lack specifically, because Black people are doing things, but they're expecting, and it's unrighteous. This is why Black people cannot build anything, because the intent behind the building isn't righteous. I saw a clip today, I saw it before, of Michael Jordan, and Oprah was talking with him about, you know, him, did he want to be a professional, you know, did he want to be this great? He was like, man, I had no idea. And he said, but you know, if I'd have been chasing this, he said, I never would have got it. Let me find that clip. So I'm messing it up. I'm trying to find it. Okay, I found it. Hold on. I just want y'all to hear this real quick, because I want you to hear his mindset.
Until I was 12.
Well, did you know? Did you have? Yeah.
I started baseball when I was 6, but I really didn't start basketball until I was 12.
Well, Did you know? Did you have any idea somewhere in your cell, in your knee somewhere? Did you have any idea that it could be like this?
No.
No.
By no means. And if that was the case, if it was something that I probably was chasing, I would have never gotten it.
You never gotten it. Because, you know, a lot of kids think they're going to be like you.
That's the whole point. If you chase something, then sometimes you never get it. If you put forth the work and all the attitude, next thing you know, it's bestowed upon you.
It's bestowed upon you. Gotta love it, man. This guy. This was the guy. I watched every single post-game interview I cut of this guy. Nobody did post-game interview like Michael did. Nobody. He was the greatest, not only in the way he played the game of basketball, but also in the way he did post-game interviews.
Yeah.
I started baseball.
Really?
I'm glad you brought.
So the point I'm making is that when we get through the smoke, we'll get past the smoke and mirrors and dig through the root of things and dig down to the root. What we see is that the only way for anybody to truly be successful is for them to do righteously. I'm not doing this to be famous. I'm not doing this to be rich. I'm not doing this to have my name in lights. I'm doing this because I believe this is the right thing to do. And when you talk to Black people, you don't see that kind of spirit. You don't see a spirit of giving. You don't see a spirit of service. You don't see it. The whole culture, this thing called Black culture, is suppressing Black people from actually seeing what life is really about. It truly is. Because Black people can't see it. These concepts are foreign. Andrew Tate just said, you're not exceptional because you want to win. You're not exceptional because you don't want to lose. Nobody wants to lose and everybody wants to win. What makes you exceptional is trying and not caring about the outcome. When I was doing, well, I'm still doing the challenges, but even doing these challenges, I had to remove the motivation and incentives. I took them away. And then you look up and it's April. Am I a better person? I don't know. Has life gotten better? I don't know. But I haven't even thought about it. And so Black people, it's almost like auditioning for a movie, and you audition for a role, and you can audition for the lead all the way down to an extra. But you can audition for lead, second lead, third, like you can audition for all of them. If life is a movie, Black people show up to the audition and they audition to be an extra. If life is a movie, Black people audition to be the extra. I mean, they just show up. Not even realizing that you never know if you audition for the lead role, you just might get it. There have been actors that y'all know that weren't actors, auditioned and got the role. Because what people don't realize is that when people are picking talent, they're picking to see if you can play the part. Can you convey the character in this part? You might be a horrible actor. Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't a good actor, but he was believable. Arnold Schwarzenegger had a language barrier. He wasn't a good actor, but he was believable. They said, we can work with that. We can work with that guy. These life lessons, all these little nuances in life, Black folks have no concept of them. Why? Because they've been told that their entire existence is based on race. So what the devil has done is the devil has truly sucked out any chance for wisdom, discernment, and growth.
The only possible exceptionalism that exists in a win-lose conundrum is in between. To try, because nobody wants to try. Nobody likes the idea of struggle. Nobody likes the idea of pain. Nobody likes the idea of setbacks. Nobody likes the idea of banging their head against a wall. Nobody likes frustration. Nobody likes confusion. So to be exceptional, what you have to do is say, I'm the only one who doesn't care about winning, and I don't care about losing. I love trying. I love to try. I just got my ass kicked. I don't care because I tried. And I tried my best. When I start a new business, people say, do you think it's going to be successful? I say, I don't know. When you love trying, you're now an exceptional person because nobody else does. Everyone wants to win without trying. Everyone wants to avoid loss without trying. You're the only guy who loves trying.
Powerful. Winning Waltz with Chris said he didn't seek out greatness, but he prepared himself for it. Oh, beautiful. Ooh, my goodness. Oh. Well, I'm going to play this back. So he didn't seek out greatness, but he prepared himself for it. God. Oh my goodness. PBE said, I'm gonna come back to that. Black, I'm surprised that you didn't show the Victor Glover clip of him giving glory to God as he pilots the Artemis to the moon. I think I had that clip. CJ sent me that clip. I thought I had that clip in here. Maybe I didn't, but she sent it to me about the astronaut. He was talking about, I know he was talking about, they were talking about him being the first Black, something about him being Black going to the moon or whatever. Try to find that clip though. Let me try to find that clip. I'm going to do a part 2 of this. I think I found it. I think I found it.
It is a big question, and I want to highlight, I guess maybe one facet of this is the tension, I call it. I live in this, this dichotomy between happiness that a young woman can look at Christina and just physicalize her passion or her interest, or even if it's not something she wants to do, she can just be like girl power, and that's awesome. And that young brown boys and girls can look at me and go, hey, he looks like me and he's doing what? And that's great. I love that. But I also hope we are pushing the other direction, that one day we don't have to talk about these first, that one day this is just, and I listen to this, that this is the human history. It's about human history. It's the story of humanity, not Black history, not women's history, but that it becomes human history. It is a
Not Black history, but human history. Not Black history, but human history. I want to go back to, because I'm about to go. Christina Scrapping Beauty said, working with hospice vets and abused children, I remember friends asking, why would you be working in such a negative place? I always said, because I go where I'm needed, fill the void. Amen. Charles said, Blacks will only try to build something just to compare it to whites, not righteous. Amen. And that's what we find, is that most of what Black people are doing is just to be in opposition to white. Even think about it. Even when Black people achieve something, they say, I had to achieve this in spite of white people doing A, B, C, and D. But Christina, this right here, he didn't seek out greatness, but he prepared himself for it. I don't think y'all know how powerful this quote is that she put on this screen. Do you understand how powerful this is? That the man was doing the best that he could do. I'm giving forth my best effort. And the byproduct of giving your best effort is literal preparation to be great. Just imagine if we give 100% to something every single day. You are bound to be great, because most people don't give 100% to nothing. So you're going to look like an anomaly, because you're going to be giving 100% and those around you are not. The Bible says your gifts make room for you and put you in the presence of great men. She said he didn't seek out greatness, but he prepared himself for it. This resonates with me because I removed all the incentives. I did. Because I said, I don't know what this is going to be in the end. I have no idea. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know. And I took it all away. And so I'm just going to do it. Diamone said, imagine giving your 100% to Jesus. Most people don't give 100% to anything. You know, I said that, I'm glad she said that. I said that lost my train of thought real quick. Oh no. I said that I got from a guy on YouTube. He said that discipline was prayer. And he said, when we're disciplined about things, this is how we talk to God. And when he said it, I was like, dang, disciple, discipline. I was like, ugh. Then a guy said on the chat, he said, discipline is worship. And I was like, dang, discipline is worship. That's how we show it, give a reverence to God. Then Holy Spirit said, discipline is faith. Think about the disciples and think about what they were supposed to do when they were around Jesus. They were supposed to be the spitting image of him. But we found all throughout the scriptures that they weren't. Now, when he, died, they became, spreaders of the gospel. But my point is that they were supposed to give Christ 100%. They were supposed to give Christ 100%. And maybe if they had, it wouldn't have worked out like it did. I don't know. But if there's something about a person giving 100% to anything they do. If you give 100% to your job, if you give 100% to your family, you give 100% to Jesus, you give 100% to everything, what do you think the outcome is going to be? What could it not be? I think that we should all incorporate this. I don't know if y'all doing it, but you know what I'm going to start doing? And I've been given a lot of percentages. I ain't gonna lie. I've been given I'm up the ante though. I'm gonna give 100% to everything. And you know what? We're not gonna care about the outcome. We're gonna give 100%. Let the chips fall as they may. Yeah, I've been journaling too. I've been journaling too. I have. But through my challenge, I've been thinking about discipline, disciple, discipline, disciple. Discipline, disciple. And then David Goggins said, I'm a disciple of discipline. I look at David Goggins' life, I'm like, this man has achieved things that no other man will achieve. And he did it all through being disciplined. He did it. He achieved all of these great things simply by being disciplined. It wasn't even rocket science. Just be disciplined. Christina said he didn't seek out greatness, but he prepared himself for it. The beauty of it is he wasn't even thinking about being the greatest player ever. He wasn't even thinking about being the greatest player. And he said, had I been chasing it, I wouldn't have got it. You know why? Because he knows chasing something, chasing greatness is already unrighteous. Because you're going to compromise yourself doing it. It comes with compromising yourself. Chasing something comes with compromising. That's why he said, I worked hard and it was bestowed upon me. It was bestowed upon me because I proved to God that I deserved it. Disciple, discipline. Disciple, discipline. Thank you, Anthony Labrakiak, for the super sticker. Thank you again for the super stickers, sir. Thank you so much. Scrapping Beauty. Yes, you can be great in any work if you try hard. No comparison except with yourself daily. Thank you, Scrapping Beauty. Thank you so much because, in my life, all throughout my life, I know I got to go, but all throughout my life, I thought that I was competing with everyone and everything around me. And then it took for me to truly talk to God and realize that this entire time has been about me. This entire time has been about me. And I heard, thank you again, Scrapping Beauty. And I heard David Goggins say, everybody in life and searching for their purpose, but not realizing the purpose is you. And I thought about it. And when I was talking to God, everything God was telling me was about me, nobody else. God didn't tell me to go feed the homeless. God didn't tell me to go save the children. God didn't tell me to go out there and even preach. God said, you need to be who I created you to be. That's what you need to do. That's your focus. And I realized that we can't even help, we can't even build, we can't even save unless we are who God created us to be. Charles said, Jesus said, greater works shall you do for a reason. Why would Jesus say that? Why would Jesus say that we could do greater works than even him? I believe because the intentions, righteous intent, because you're not focused on outcome, you focused on God's kingdom. Your focus now shifts from you, it shifts from your emotions, it shifts from your desires, it shifts from your hang-ups, your low self-esteem, your shortcomings. All that stuff gets out the way. And you say, I'm going to do what's right because it's the right thing to do. Jesus said greater works for a reason. And if he can't lie, then that means we can do greater things that Christ did, which sounds insane, I know. But that's what he said. So if we can do greater works than Christ, then what are we doing? It means we're not tapping in. We're not tapping in. We're selling ourselves short. That's what we're selling ourselves short. Because deep down inside, along the way, somebody planted a seed in us that said, we can't be great. Tierra said, we do greater works because he gives us the free gift of his spirit. We got the Holy Spirit. Greater is he that's in me that's in the world. I don't think we realize how powerful it is for us to do and not care about the outcome. I'm going to do what God said and let the chips fall as they may. I don't think we realize how powerful that is. Yes, our deepest fear is that we are inadequate. That we're not good enough. But here goes the beauty of it. Here goes the beauty of our deepest fear. It's true. It's true. You're not good enough. You're not. I'm not. Because the goal is to do what? To be good enough. That's the goal. So I had to wake up and tell myself, listen, you are not where you need to be in life. And mainly, forget the life part, you are not who God wants you to be. It's a harsh reality, but guess what? The goal is to be who God wants me to be. I think it's beautiful. Most people cannot admit where they are. If you think about Alcoholics Anonymous, they always have you in that 12-step program. They have you say what? I'm an alcoholic. For a reason. I'd be like, man, why do they keep saying that? I'm an alcoholic. It's a reminder. I can't never get above my calling. The moment I say I'm not alcoholic, the moment I go back. Because guess what? If I'm an alcoholic, then I can drink. If I'm not a sinner, then I can sin. I understand. So no, we're not good enough. We have to get good enough. And guess what? It's a lifelong journey. And the beauty of it is we'll never be good enough. All we can do is hope to be better and just keep getting better. So when we leave this earth, we left better. There's nothing wrong. And I had to realize this too, because I used to beat myself up a lot. And I got to go, but I used to do it a lot. I used to beat myself up a lot. And I saw a quote at my job today that someone put up there, and it said, it really spoke to me because it said, you beat yourself up your whole life, and what has it accomplished? Nothing. Think about that. You beat yourself up your whole life, and what has it accomplished? Absolutely nothing. It's been to my detriment. And it was like, why don't you focus on good, the good you do? And I thought about it. How much more is a child encouraged that when they do something good, you tell them that was excellent? They're going to try to do that good thing better. But if you go to them and say you don't measure up, you ain't good enough, I'm talking about to the children when they're doing the task, they're going to become insecure about it. So my advice for anybody, stop beating yourself up. Stop beating yourself up. And if you do something well, give yourself some credit because you did something well. Even God told Jesus, this is my son with whom I'm well pleased, because he did something good. He gave him praise. He did something good because he gave him praise. Do the same thing with yourself. You do something good, give yourself some praise. I don't want anybody to be discouraged. Rome wasn't built in a day. They started building Rome with one brick. Every journey starts with one step. So do not despise your small beginnings. I don't care. You might go from, I'm going to stop eating this one thing for a week and build on that. We got to stop despising where we come from. We can't despise that first brick. We can't despise that first step. We can't. It's necessary. I'm telling you. I was walking every morning. I got to go. I was walking every morning and I was in pain every single morning. I was in pain. I was hurting. I'm talking about walking 4 miles every morning in pain for 4 miles every morning. And the one day I felt no pain, my foot started hurting. And my foot started hurting because I had been putting all that pressure on my right foot all those miles I was walking because I was in so much pain. And finally, it just gave out. But my point is that even though my foot gave out, I didn't stop. Because I made up my mind, so you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I'm going to do it. I even said I wanted to have some abs, took the ab thing away. Took the ab, looked, and there was some abs. I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about the abs. I looked down, there was abs. I had my head buried. I had my head down for so long. I looked up and said, oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. So I realized that even as a content creator, and I thought about it. I thought about all of the shadow banning, demonetization, and everything that's been happening to me. You know what I said to myself? I said, this is my path. This is my journey. I got accepted. This is what it is. So shadow banning, demonetization, suppressing content, all this stuff, that's my path. So I can sit there and be upset about it, or I can accept that this is my path. And guess what? I'm going to keep moving forward. Some folks may have a path that's clear. Mine ain't. Mine got snakes, scorpions, spiders, and everything. But anyway, listen, y'all. I love y'all, and don't ever for 1 second, not for 1 second, think that God does not want the best for you. I talk to God. I'm telling y'all this from my heart. I talk to God, and I couldn't believe that God was like, I'm not done with you. Y'all don't understand how I was really almost done with myself. And I was like, you ain't done with what? I'm not done with you. So I'm telling y'all that God ain't done. This is just the beginning. Listen, y'all, I love y'all, and I will see y'all on Thursday. I love y'all. Oh, no. Yeah, Thursday, and then Saturday, and then Sunday. So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Listen, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all soon.